Welcome back to Ready, Set, Sold. I am your host, Bryan Vogt, and we are following up with Rene I. She is part owner of Cecil Management Group. They are not only a sponsor, but they are just fantastic at what they do, and Rene is by far the most, I guess for me, the well-known expert in leasing, and that's really important. And we're talking about, in the last segment, we're talking about what you should be looking for in a leasing company. And one of the things we talked about simply was, are they communicating with the tenants and how much money that can cost a tenant and a homeowner from, not knowing what's going on, not only the money, but just the frustration level is just crazy. And Rene, I guess my question now is, so now you have an empty unit and now it needs to be rented. What should you be expecting from a leasing company?
You definitely want your leasing company, again, everything goes back to communication. You want to find out that your leasing company's done that detailed move-out inspection with the tenant. So whenever the tenant leaves, they're going in, and they're not only looking for potential damages that your tenant may have had, but they're being proactive, and they're looking at the big picture, and they're saying, okay, there may be a few scuffs on the wall, but this place will show a lot better if it gets painted. Or the carpet may not have that many stains, but it's just really looking worn out. If we get the carpet replaced, not only is it going to rent better, but maybe we could get an extra $50 a month. So starting out, after the tenant leaves and you're doing that marketing phase, definitely having that communication from your property manager, just letting you know these are recommendations we have, and it's going to get you a better return on your investment. Even if you have to pay to do painting, your return on investment is going to be X amount of money.
And I think that's really key, and that actually ties in a lot, even with selling a house. I mean, the two work hand in hand. Now, I understand you're not buying a home, but I would imagine if you are leasing something, leasing a home, leasing an apartment, whatever you may be leasing, I would think that having that carpeting in good tip-top shape, having neutral colors or having it painted, not only, as you said, maybe gets you a few bucks more, but there's competition out there, right?
Exactly right. And, I've been known to find the competition and send pictures of that to my owners and kind of do a side-by-side. This is your comparison. A tenant is not they can't come in and paint. They can't come in and modify it like they can if they're purchasing a home. So you want to have stuff that hopefully meets their needs, their expectations. That way they're going to take it. I had one recently where there was older appliances, and I recommended to the owner, we're putting this on the market, hey, I really think you just need to upgrade these appliances. For the price we're asking, it's really going to make a difference. It's not going to change your monthly rent price, but it's going to make a difference on us securing a good quality tenant for you. Hesitant, didn't want to do it. Well, sure enough, we get a few showings in, and my feedback is appliances are outdated. So it really does make a difference, and it's something that tenants do look for because the competition out there is stiff. And if you don't have your property in tip-top shape, it's going to, it can affect it, and the people may go down the street to your competitor.
I love that, too, because like I said, and there, as I mentioned before, that's kind of the parallels that sometimes we talk about, leasing, buying. So I love the fact is that those things come into play, too. And I think it's important for people that are thinking about leasing, which could be a very good idea. Depends on your situation. We have a military here. They may be a situation where they're moving in to the area. And I can tell you right now, from our experience, and Rene, I'll rely on yours, the military, look, they're looking for something that they're going to be in for the next maybe 2 or 3 years, which is really a great thing, possibly, if you have a home that you want to rent, correct?
Right, correct. I was just on one last night, and, hopefully there we can get a 2 to 3 year lease, and the place looks great. And the goal is, you have it nice whenever they move in. You set the tone, you set the expectations, you get somebody in there for a couple years. The goal is then you get it back in that same nice, high expectation condition to where if you can't sell now, but you can sell then, you're not going to have to put as much money into it. So yeah, whether people are signing a 12-month lease or a 3-year lease, they still have those same high expectations. So your property has to reflect that.
And it's a win-win. Not only do they get what they want as far as the people renting, but now you're able to get not only security, but possibly a few more dollars that will help go a long way in making this a kind of a win-win situation. So I guess my question, though, that I have and what I hear is, what about a situation when someone comes in and maybe it doesn't go as well, meaning the tenant didn't do what they were supposed to do? How does that work? I mean, when you're talking to a leasing company, a property management company, what should be expectations on that? Because that's what we hear sometimes from people that, they would like to rent it, but they're concerned about what may happen to their home when they rent it out.
That's one of the toughest questions I get, and I wish I had the magical guaranteed answer that it's going to be 100% great experience and there's not going to be any damage to the property and it's going to be left and they're going to take care of it just as good, if not better, than a homeowner did. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that. I can tell you that we have a lot of systems in place, and you want to make sure your property manager has good systems in place to screen as much as we can for the tenants before we put them into your home. My motto is, if I want to put them into my home, I'm not going to put them into your home. But you can screen somebody where they could be perfect credit, perfect landlord, perfect income, but I go to do a walkthrough and they're not good housekeepers, where the carpets could be dirty or anything like that. And that's where your property manager comes into play and having those difficult conversations with them. Coming in more the proactive versus the reactive part. So if we're watching the property like we should and maintenance is reporting back after they're at the property, we're doing our drive-bys, we're doing our due diligence on the walkthroughs, hopefully you can lessen those issues, and hopefully get them resolved before somebody moves out. That way you don't have damage to your house or those, quote, horror stories that, everybody is fearful of. And I get it. I mean, I had a rental property myself, and it was very nerve-wracking just knowing and wondering if they're taking care of it how you are. But again, just trust your property manager to communicate with the tenant, communicate with you, and hopefully the property's taken care of and in good condition. Rule of thumb is always people are going to, they know within the first 30 days if they're going to renew or not. So if they had a good move-in experience where you do a detailed walkthrough with them, any maintenance issues, any concerns, you take care of them right away. That first 30 days, if anything comes up and you take care of it right away, you've locked in your tenant. You've connected with them. They know that you care. They're going to care. So that first 30 days really will set the tone for a tenant's occupancy.
Wow, that's really big stuff too. Because I think, I love this program because I learned something myself, and that's I think is really huge. Just to kind of finish up on that thought there, because the fact of when you say connecting is, again, it needs to be a win-win situation for not only the tenant but for the person who is leasing the property. And by having a property manager that is that proactive, I mean, that's kind of a dream. I mean, that's something that is really huge. And so I think the question comes into, when you're looking for someone to rent your property out or looking for a company, that's a perfect question to ask is, what are you going to do? Do you have anything that you can at least reduce the risk? As you said, nothing's 100%, but that's huge as far as being able to connect and make sure those things are taken care of. So thank you for that. That was great.
Absolutely.
With that, I tell you what, we ran almost out of time. Rene Whitnauer from Cecil Management Group. They do a fantastic job. They are a sponsor, but they also are just experts. And if you listen to Rene at all, you've heard some fantastic information. And she's going to have a recurring role on a monthly basis coming in. But you can also contact Cecil Management or Rene by just going to their website, and that is cecilmanagement.com. Did I write that down correctly?
You did. That is right. Yes. Okay.
Hey, thanks so much, Rene. We'll be back with a special guest talking about R3. That's my team.